Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adekemi Ayemibo, Mrs. I welcome everyone to this seminar this afternoon. I'm sure someone might have invited you for this seminar and you have deemed it fit to attend. I want to congratulate you for making out time to attend this meeting, because parents have a lot to do in the lives of their children. And we can't just afford to make mistakes in anything we are doing. Fine, we might have made some mistakes in the past, 1 or 2 mistakes in the past, but we don't want such mistakes to repeat themselves or even make further mistakes. And that is why it is important for us as parents, as mothers, most especially, to equip ourselves with the knowledge that we need to thrive, with the knowledge that we need to make ourselves ready for the tasks that we have ahead. While we were advertising this program, we got some comments that, why are we not having 360-degree dad? But I tell you, mothers have a lot of role to play in grooming the child, in bringing up a child. So I welcome us to this program. It's going to be an eye-opener. It's going to be a kind of form of revision for us, and we'll still learn a lot from this program. I want to appreciate the people that are joining, especially those that are not even married at all, but they are here to learn, to equip themselves for the tasks ahead. Because by the time you get married, this opportunity might not be there. There are other things that you have to do. And so you might not even remember. Before you know it, you have started giving birth to your children. And by the time you wake up from your sleep, time has already gone. So it is good to make a while the sun shines. 360-degree mom, what is it all about? We are starting right away with the 360-degree mom. As you can see, this is the 360-degree mom. This 360-degree mom is the mother that has equipped herself in all the areas of the life of a child. We are talking about different areas of a child. We start with the basic child care. From basic child care, we have nutrition. From nutrition, you talk about the health of the child. How is the health of your child? How is the well-being of your child? You look at education, child behavior, and then the values that you are giving to your child. What kind of values are you giving to your child? We are going to quickly do a review of it, and then we start with the topic for today. Before I go ahead, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Adekemi Ayemibo. I am married. I am a school founder, lover of children, and I love children to be trained properly. I love children to grow. I love children. I love to groom children, to build role models in the life of children, so that when they grow up, they will be able to stand on their own. These are my qualifications: BSc Biochemistry, MSc Pharmacology. I have a medical background, and so I know there's some things about, the medical aspect. Then postgraduate diploma in education, MSc Education Administration in view. I have some certifications in Jolly Phonics, Jolly Grammar, Montessori methods, early years foundation stage, effective handwriting, professional childcare, mastering childcare, and nutrition. Very important. I think this course, every mother should go for it. Every mother should go for it. Professional parenting. Raising children is an assignment for which all parents or guardians will be measured. Train up a child in the way he should go. when he is old, he will not depart from it. Does training a child require professionalism? Okay, someone said raising children is an assignment for which all parents and guardians should be measured. That quote was given by Ibukun Awoshika. That the training a child is so precious, is so taxing, is so valuable, is so important that the way you train your child, you will be measured on it. You will be measured on how you have done it. So it's not a tax that we feel, no, I'm not accountable to anybody. I'm not going to give account to anyone. I can do it the way I like. I can do it the way I want. No, just the way you cannot just go to the office and begin to work in a bank without having experience and say, or without being trained, without going to school. Then you say, I will do it the way I like. I will do it how I know it. I don't know much about it. No, you have to, before you can work in a bank, you have to first of all go to school. Then you get the necessary qualification that you need to be able to work in a particular organization. You want to be a pharmacist, you cannot just open a pharmaceutical company and start producing drugs and say, I will do it how I like. No, you just have to be trained for it. But when it comes to training children, when it comes to bringing up children, we feel we don't need any form of training. We feel it's fine, it's okay for us to be auxiliary, for us to just be a helper, just, an attachment. No, you are the main person as a mother in parenting. You are the pivot, you are the focus, you are everything to that child. That child is depending on you to be able to get something out of life. There's nobody that's going to be responsible for training your child, my dear friends. You are the one that is solely responsible. Others can help you raise your children, okay, by sending them to church on Sunday and say, okay, please help me to teach my child this and that. Others can help you to train your child by sending them to school and say, please, teacher, train my child for me. Or you can send your child to anywhere for training. But you are the principal focus. You play a pivotal role in ensuring that these children are correctly trained. Other people that you have employed are just auxiliary staff. They are just helping you. They are not the principal. So you cannot blame them if anything goes wrong. You cannot blame them if anything happens. You are the one that will take the whole blame. What I'm trying to say is that mothers, we need to take full responsibility for how our children are being trained. Ignorance is no excuse. The ignorance of another person is even no excuse for you. Okay? So you can say, oh, the nanny I employed did this, did that. Oh, the nanny was ignorant. So you can't blame the nanny. Oh, the teacher that was taking care of my child did not teach my child this way. Okay, the teacher was not good enough. But you as the mother will still take the whole blame at the end of the day. So it is a task that we will be measured. In this series, we'll be looking at child development, as I said. Do we understand the meaning of child development? Do we understand the stages in child development? What are the stages as a mother? Do you know the stage where your child is presently or where your children are presently? At what stage? What stage are they? Are they in the formative stage where you can teach them, or that you can, do you know the things you can teach your child at the stage where your child is? Or it is when your child has passed that stage, you now learn it? We need to equip ourselves. Basic childcare, before you even get married at all, this is a course you should go for. But unfortunately, the society doesn't, teach us that. We just carried away with the wedding, I want to get married and all. And unfortunately, you get married and you get pregnant immediately. You don't even have any breathing space to be able to say, okay, I want to go for a course. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. And while you are pregnant, you know what it involves. Before you know it, you are giving back to your child. A story was told of a mother that was discharged in the hospital, and the nurse said, okay, you can go now. Thank you. Your child is okay. Take your child and go. And the woman was like, are you telling me that this child belongs to me and I should take the child away? Because she has never, trained a child before. She doesn't know what it entails. She has never bathed a child. She doesn't know anything about childcare. And so, fortunately for her, unfortunately for her, maybe the mother-in-law is not around, her own mother is not available. Then you can imagine how that story will end. Basic childcare is very important. Do you know about safety of a child? The next thing is nutrition. Are we doing trial and error on the nutrition of our children? What are you supposed to give your child at a particular stage of development? At a particular age, what is the child supposed to take? You don't want to get to the hospital and the nurses are complaining to you that your child is underweight or your child is malnourished. You can imagine that kind of embarrassment. Somebody went to the hospital and came back home and was lamenting that they said my child is malnourished and she started running helter-skelter to begin to find out what to do. You know, what if you did not go to the hospital at that time and they didn't tell you that and something happens to that child? What does it mean for a doctor, a nurse to say that a child is malnourished? Under nutrition, we are going to learn all that. Education. What role are you playing in the education of your child? Are you ahead of your child in education or the child is ahead of you? You hear funny things, funny complaints parents make, and you are like, what is going on? A parent comes to you and the parent is like, my child cannot read, my child is 7 years old and I did not know. How on earth, at that particular time, the situation might be very bad, that you won't be able to tell the parents, how come? The same thing in the hospital. Some doctors will say that, but at times you just want to empathize. You don't want to start saying, what are you looking at? Your child is 7 years old, your child cannot read, and it is now that you are talking. Where have you been? They will blame someone that is the nanny. Okay, now you are talking about education, so is the teacher, is the teacher before, then I changed, and this and that. Why were you not playing your role to monitor the education of your child? Do you know that when your child is in the nursery school, you're supposed to have prepared, which school is my child going to in primary? Then from primary, your child is you're already ahead, you are looking at secondary. What kind of a school? Or because you ask someone, the child is in primary 5 or primary 6, like, which school is your child, which secondary school is your child going? And the person is like, for real? My child is going to secondary school? You are the one reminding, such a person that the child is going to secondary school. The person is not even thinking of it. The person is not thinking of it. Are you ahead of your child in education? So we are not talking about education today, but I'm just trying to, tell us the things we need to be doing as mothers. Healthcare. Do we know about immunization? What kind of immunization are you giving your child? Have you found out the best immunization for your child, or you just find yourself in a place, this is what they are giving my child? You are not comparing. Okay, what are other children taking? Is my child okay? The healthcare provider, is he giving my child the right immunization? Do you know the meaning of domestic emergencies? Can you handle domestic emergency in your home? We'll discuss all that under healthcare. At times, we can't study our profession. You can't be a teacher and then you are a doctor, you are a nutritionist, you are this, you are that. No, you can't be everything. But as a mother, for you to be balanced, because you are training a child, you need to learn the key things you need to know about everything. Fine, you are not a nurse, but you can find out the basic things that you need to know to groom your child. Child behavior, child development. I've spoken a little about child development. You need to know what stage your child is. Is this the right time to teach the child this? Is this the right time to put these values in my child? It's not when the child has passed that stage, you are trying to meet up. No. Make hay while the sun shines. Values. Values cannot be overemphasized. I will tell us a story about values just to explain to us what we mean by giving the child the right value, because there's a lot to talk about under values. There's a lot to talk about. One day, there was once an experience I had about a child. I was with that child at that particular time, and the child was with me in a school. The child was with me in a school, and the parent of that child called. I picked the call, I discussed with the child, and I picked the call. It was the mother of that child. Apparently, the mother was coming late for that child. The mother was running late, so I picked the call, and the mother spoke to me on phone. I didn't mention the name of the person. I spoke to the person, formally and officially, and we ended the call. And the next thing, the child was actually playing somewhere. So the child looked at me and said, "Was that my mom?" I said, "Yes, that was your mom. She's not coming to pick me." And I said, "Yes." "Okay, I know. Is she at home? Did she tell you she's not at home?" I said, "Yes, she's not at home." Then she said, "My mommy is lying. My mommy is lying." And I was so shocked because the child said it emphatically with all, certainty. And I was like, "How can you say that?" I was actually speechless. I was even stammering. How could you, And the following day, I didn't bother to find out from the child what happened at the end of the day, because the way that child was so serious, and the child knew what he was saying. And she said, "If you see, when I get home now, you will see that my mom is at home. She's telling you she's not at home, right? How did you know she's telling me she's not at home?" What that child has learned is that you have inculcated some things in that child, so that child already knows. If that child now turns out to be a professional liar, she has learned it from her mother, and you will be telling the child, "Don't lie, don't do this, don't do that." Children learn from us a lot. They learn from us. So these are the things we are going to be looking at. We are going to be looking at them in details, one after the other. As I said, raising children is an assignment for which all parents or guardians will be measured. Training children requires professionalism. If you can go to school to learn how to be a doctor, if you can go to school to learn how to be a nurse, how to be a teacher, then why will you not go to school to learn how to be a good mother? Fine, there might be no school, there might be no such school, but you can create the school for yourself by training yourself, and that takes diligence. By asking questions. Why is this happening? Why should I do this? Can I talk to a doctor? Can we talk? At times when I get to meet maybe a pediatrician, for instance, I'm like, what is it that a mother should know that you know? Okay, don't tell me everything about, the medical aspects, but what is it that whenever you are in the hospital, you say, I wish all mothers can know this. So those are the questions I ask pediatricians when I see them. What is that thing that is always in your mind that I wish all mothers can know? Then when you meet a teacher too, what is that thing in your mind that you wish all mothers can know? You meet a nutritionist. What is that thing in your mind? Ask them that all mothers should know. I may not know everything, but what is that thing that is important for me to know as a mother? In child care, in health care, nutrition, child development, child behavior, education, and the values. Welcome to professional child care. Are you hearing that for the first time? Being a professional mother? Yes, that is what it should be. There should be school of motherhood where we learn all these things. Many of us were not taught. Sincerely, we thought that it was just about getting married. Okay, about having children. But no, it's not all about that. It's not about getting married, having your own husband. Then you say, I'm married, and you can see that woman now, she's putting on her wedding ring, and you say, yeah, before you know it, you have given birth to your children, and there's no time to learn. Let's endeavor to learn. A professional mother is a mother that cares for the child. Not just caring for the child, is the mother that has the technical know-how. You have the technical know-how of how to train the child. You are equipped. Because you might actually care for your child. In fact, every mother cares. Which, is there any mother that doesn't care? Well, some might not care, but every regular mother cares. But when you don't even know how to care, then you don't know. So you have to learn to know how to care. Then you will be able to know what to do at every point in time. As human beings, we prefer at times to be on the path of ignorance and say, after all, I did not know. No, you have the opportunity to learn. You have the opportunity to learn. So once again, I said, if you are within 20 to 29, you are not even married, you are in this training, wow, that is one of the greatest decisions you can ever make. A mother, a professional mother, has to be diligent. Beyond loving your child, I can't say a professional mother should love her child. I know you all love your children. Okay, so that is not what we are discussing now. What we are discussing now is that a professional mother should be diligent enough to equip herself on what to do. Don't trade blames. At times we say, okay, if I don't know, I will just blame somebody. Okay, I'll blame my mom. Why didn't she teach me? Okay, you can start to choose to blame your mother and say, why did, I remember a story of someone that said, I blame my mother, I did not do well in school, so I blame her. I said, well, what if she's not educated? Don't blame anybody. Don't even blame your mother. She did not know, just the way you did not know now. So you can't blame anybody. What you are supposed to do is, okay, let me equip myself so that I will train my own children. Don't blame the teacher. Maybe the teacher does not know too. Okay? So when you know, you inform the people around you that are responsible for training your child. What I'm saying is that you want to employ a nanny. You train that nanny. Don't say, God will help us. One of the reasons I said earlier that I own a school, and one of the reasons that made me to want to start from the scratch of crèche was because I was working in an organization that we had busy mothers. When I say busy, you know what I mean. You work till 8, 10 p.m. and you don't even know where your child is. I was worried. I was concerned. I will call, let me not mention names there. We call ourselves by our first name. Have you called the nanny at home? Yeah, well, if you are looking at that, you will not do this work. You cannot do this work. And, because I try to find out how they are coping, try to imagine that 7, 8 p.m. they are still at work. They don't know what's going on with their child. And I tried to ask them one day, they all bombarded me and said, your own is too much. It's because you don't have your children yet. When you start giving back to children, you understand that you just overlook some things. Fine. There are some things that you cannot handle. You will live in the hands of God. But when you can handle some things, he's listening to you, you are picking a call, you are talking to your nanny, and the nanny the girl does not understand the left from right. And you are saying, bring out something from the freezer, and you are shouting in the office, and the child does not understand. The child is hearing, put the child in the freezer. Because the child has not been trained. The nanny has not been trained. And you are saying you want to leave everything in the hands of God. Fine. You have to play your own role. You have to ensure you get a professional nanny. If the nanny is not professional, at least she has a little qualification. Send her to this kind of a training. Don't say, we cannot do everything. It's God that will help us. And so we prefer to be ignorant. We prefer, something bad happened in that time. That was what even made me to make that decision. I said, there's supposed to be a place for the children of my colleagues. Let me arrange, let me do something for them. So we just have to play our own role and ensure that we put things in order. Okay, so we are looking at the aspect today, the aspect of basic child care. Who is a child caregiver? A child caregiver is someone who has been assigned the responsibility of caring for the child when the principal is unavailable. In other words, a child caregiver is a nanny that takes care of a child when the principal is not available. Now, who is the principal? The principal in this definition is the mother of that child. The mother of that child is not around, so you employ the child caregiver. Now, the principal, as that word implies, means that you are the principal child caregiver. So, mothers, I'm happy to announce to us this afternoon that you are a caregiver. Or let me use the word, you are the caregiver. You are the principal caregiver. So don't just call the nanny that came to your house yesterday the caregiver. You are the principal. That nanny that came is the auxiliary, is the helper. That teacher you send your child to go and stay with is just a helper, someone that is just helping you at that time. That person is not the principal person. So you are the principal and you should take responsibility. How can you take responsibility? By being diligent. You can take responsibility by being diligent. Today we are talking about basic caregiving, personal hygiene and grooming, home safety. I pray that time will permit us to be able to discuss all these. Basic caregiving. The first thing you need to know when you are taking care of a child, just give birth to your child, is to be able to take care of that child. First thing in caregiving is bathing a baby. Selecting the clothes the baby is going to wear, arranging them neatly in your dressing space. Set the bath before bringing the baby to the bathroom. As I said earlier, we are starting from basic childcare. All the other things I've done the overview, and we just have to start from somewhere. That is why we are starting with basic caregiving. Many mothers know this, if not all, that they need to select the clothes that their children will wear. But we find a situation whereby this doesn't happen every time, or even most times. We don't select the right clothes for our children. You select the wrong clothes. So you select the clothes, arrange it neatly in your dress space, set the bath before bringing the baby to the bathroom. When you are ready, you have arranged the clothes the child is going to wear, you go to the bathroom, you get all the materials ready. Before you take the child to the bathroom, you get all your bathing materials, the bathtub, the sponge or foam, the soap, the bucket if necessary of warm water, or you have a means of getting warm water in your bathroom, fine. Moderate size towel, small soft towel, and 2 cotton pads. The 2 cotton pads for each eye. Check with your wrist to make sure that the temperature is okay. As a nursing mother, you want to check the temperature of the water. How do you check? You have put the water in a place. You want to check that by the time you put your hand in, you have made it evenly, the heat is even or the temperature is even. You check with your wrist. Okay, we are going to watch a video now to see how that is going to be done in order to check the temperature of, you can't just use your bare hand, your palm to check the temperature. You won't know if it's a newborn baby. So you wash the hair of the child, wash the face, wash all the delicate parts of the head, and then other parts. You can start with other parts first so that the child will not catch cold easily. Okay, and you can, when the head is not wet, you can still be connecting with the child. You can still sing with the child, you can still talk to the child, you can still make the child to smile and all. At every point in time, as a newborn, the child is still within the age of 0 to 3 to 4 months. The neck is not yet, stable, the bone of the neck. So you need to support the neck at every point in time. Then you sing along while you are bathing the child. Depending on the song you like to sing, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the skies. Twinkle, twinkle, little stars, how I wonder what you are. Okay, or you sing the native song, whichever song you like to sing. Avoid throwing the baby up. Don't throw baby up because it can cause shaky baby syndrome. You know, our grandmother said, no, there's something that you must throw the baby up so that the baby will not be scared. No, that is when the baby can have shaky baby syndrome. Okay, when the baby is gradually old enough, you can do all that with the baby. But when the baby is still small, a newborn baby, you don't do that. Then many of us don't also know that the moisturizer we should use should not be the one that has a strong perfume. Just the way some of us feel when we are pregnant, any smell irritates you. That is what happens to those children. When the smell is too strong, it can cause irritation to the child. The child starts crying. You don't know why the child is crying. The child is just uncomfortable. So it's just that we cannot avoid perfume in all these things. But make sure the perfume that you are using is very mild. It's not the one that is going to choke the child. So you want to quickly watch a video now showing us how we are going to bathe our baby. When we're having this training in like a seminar, we usually do it for parents to see, but now we just have to watch the video because we are not in the meeting room physically. Can you give me some minutes? Okay, so maybe we'll move all the videos to when we are done. We'll move all the videos to when we are done. We'll continue because there's a video I would like us to watch on that. Okay, so when we are done bathing the child, you have you take the child to where you are going to dress the child up. And meanwhile, before you went to the bathroom, you have already checked your child. You have already prepared everything that you want to use to dress the child. You have selected the clothes. Get information on weather forecasts on what to wear for your child. When the weather is cold, don't wear sleeveless. We all know that, but at times we do that, and for only God knows the reason. You cover your child properly. Don't expose them. Don't say, don't also use your own body to assume that the child is okay. Don't say, I'm feeling hot. Not your own feeling, but what the child is feeling, what the environment is feeling. So you have to put the child in a comfortable environment. Body suits should be more than enough. You should have body suits as a mother taking care of your baby. You have a baby, you should buy enough body suit because you are going to wear that body suit for your child first before you wear. When I say body suit, I mean the one that you wear under that has a pin down. Okay, in that video, you see what I mean. It has a pin down, so you pin it down. The child's tummy, if it's a boy, you are wearing clothes, and the child's tummy should not be exposed at any point in time. You should cover. So when you are wearing body suits under, even if the child, you are carrying the child and the child is this way, the child's tummy is never exposed. Use a mild moisturizer with little and comfortable perfume. Make sure the perfume, if there is a moisturizer without perfume at all, because you don't know the kind of perfume that is irritating your child. You won't know. Just the way when you are pregnant, the kind of perfume that might irritate you might be different from the one that irritates another person. That's the same way. You might not know the kind of perfume that is repulsive to your child. So try and avoid it. Wear clothes from back to front. When you want to dress up your child, you wear clothes from where? From back to front. You make a loop and put the child, you put the cloth in the, pass it through the child's head, and you form a loop from there. So I want to quickly see how I can minimize the screen. Okay. Because these videos, we must watch them. All right. Support the baby's neck at every point in time. Support the baby's neck at every point in time when you want to wear the child the clothes. Don't cover the face. Instead, make a loop. I've mentioned that earlier. You make a loop, you open up the neck and make a loop. Then you wear it on that child. When you are changing the diaper, put the baby on level surface. Wipe from front to the back. Wipe from front to the back. Maybe you are dressing up a child and you discover that the child has messed herself up. Then what do? You want to change the diaper. You must make sure that before you take the child to the place where you are changing and you now start running helter-skelter, you must take everything along. Put the child in a safe place, go and get everything you need to get, and then take the child to where you want to change the child. You must be with that child at every point in time, because we've seen instances where children, babies fall from the place where the parents keep them and they start running and I did not know the child that started turning. Or the child just starts, moving, and forcefully the child falls. Okay, so we ensure that we do that. Then in cleaning the diaper, if you want to clean the child, the bum of the child, you are using your wipes. You clean from front to the back. You don't clean from back to front. Why? You don't want a situation whereby what you are cleaning, the mess you want to clean up, you are cleaning it to the front where the child's vagina is. And in the process, the child gets infection. You don't want that to happen. So you clean from front so that you clean the vagina area, then you take it to the back and then clean where the poo is. When we are done, hand washing, very, very essential. Yes, the next thing we want to talk about is putting a baby to sleep. You have bathed your baby, okay? You have ensured that you bathe the baby properly. You start with the body, you clean up the body, use mild soap with little or no perfume. Then you wash the head area, you wash the hair, you use soft sponge. Some insist that they like to use sponge, fine. But if you don't have to use sponge, it's not compulsory. You can use foam, you can use cloth, okay, a towel. You can use a towel, comfortable towel for the child to use, okay. So when you are done with that, okay, I have a question here. It says, we can actually leave comments. I wanted us to watch the video. So someone said, what do you mean by no powder? All right. Okay, so we'll have to go back there. Because of time, I wasn't reading everything. Now, the reason for that is because, I was emphasizing soft, mild moisturizer. The same reason, the chemical in all these things at times can even affect the child. The smell, some people don't even know how to use powder. When they want to use powder on a child or in the bum of a child or anywhere, the child is being choked by the smell. The child is being choked by the smell. Some even put it inside the vagina of the child. Say, okay, they say we should rub powder. You rub it and you start rubbing, you rub face. The baby, you are rubbing a baby's face with powder. And that smell is choking to that child. That chemical is dangerous for that child. Especially when we are talking about newborn. As much as possible, prevent it rashes. When the child has it, okay, you find it. Even if you must use powder, if you must use it, then you have to ensure that it is very mild. And anybody taking care of your baby also, you should also train that person. Or let that person not use it for your child. It's only when you are there. Because some in the process have put powder in the child's vagina. Some have put powder in the child's nose. I know these things are very dangerous. You don't put powder, you don't let powder enter a child's nose. You don't let methylatum. All these things are chemicals that can affect your child. When the child sniffs it in, when the child breathes it in, it can affect the child. So that is why it is not advisable to use powder. And if you must, professionally it is not. If you must, then you have to apply it yourself or train whoever is applying it. Okay? So I hope I've answered that question. Putting a baby to sleep. The bed must be flat. Bed sheets should be worn or tucked in properly. Pillows should be flat and proportionate. No use of caps to sleep. We've seen incidents that, people use caps to sleep, and before you know it, the child has removed the cap and used the cap to cover. When you want to put a child to sleep, the child is in the cot. You have also slept. You don't know what is happening to that child when you are asleep. A lot of things have happened to children, and say, we don't know what happened. Maybe the child was called in the dream or whatever. But it was because the child was struggling and everybody was asleep. So you avoid anything that can suffocate a child when the child is sleeping. And when the child is still within that age of 0 to 3 months, you don't really know the kind of child. You don't know how much that child can struggle for survival. Some children, no matter what you use to cover them as baby, they will fight their way through and remove everything. But some children cannot at that time. So when they struggle and struggle, God forbid. So pillows, if you must put it, make sure that it's not positioned in a way that it will cover the child's nose. Cap is not the one that the child will remove it. Or anything that everything in the area around that child must be such that the child cannot remove. If you are going to use a flannel, make sure that the flannel is well perforated. If you must use it to cover your baby, if you must, make sure it is that even if it wraps, make sure it is such that if it wraps on the baby's head, the baby can still breathe. You know what I mean? It's well perforated. That's what I mean by it's well perforated. It's not the one that when it covers the baby's head, the baby cannot breathe. Room temperature should be moderate for the child, not you. I wrote take note, yes. The room temperature should be moderate for your child. No, don't say I'm okay, so my child should be okay. No. It is your child that you should check whether your child is okay, not you. You are okay, you are fine, you can do everything by yourself, you know what you, but your child may not be okay. So you need to check the temperature. Are you comfortable wearing sleeveless, wearing a light cloth in the room? Okay, so if you are comfortable wearing a very light cloth, that means the temperature might be okay. Then you wear normal clothes for your child. There should be no material that the baby can pull to the nose. Everything around that area should be free. The bed sheet should be the one that can be worn. You understand? The mattress, preferably, or you tuck it in properly so that the child cannot even pull the bed sheet to cover him or herself. What is the safest sleep position? Okay, now I'll give us some minutes to send chats. You can send me, what do you think is the safest sleep position for your baby? How do you put your baby to sleep? Is it face down or side or face up? I would like to know how we do that. Okay, can we send messages? Let me know how we do that. What is the safest mode of putting a child to sleep? Any response? What is the safest mode of putting a child to sleep? Okay, let me see our comments. Someone said side. Another person said face up. Okay, I know a lot of people like side. A lot of people like side. Okay, now when you put your, nobody is saying face down. Why is nobody saying face down? But we do that a lot. Now I'm starting with newborn. I'm talking about newborn now, children that cannot move. Okay, when I say a child, a baby, I mean a baby. A baby that cannot move. How do you do it? How do you put that baby to sleep in a way that your mind is at rest? Okay, when you put your baby by the side, when you put your baby by the side to sleep, sorry, just a minute. I'm trying to regularize some stuff here. Okay, so when you put your child to sleep by the side, let me start with face down. When you put your child to sleep, you face down. Some children, we've noticed that some children can choke because of some babies. Let me use the word babies, because something obstructed their breathing and they could not, move. Maybe they're still having problem with moving their neck because they are still fragile, or anything can happen. The neck might get stuck and the child is face down. So it can cause sudden death. Then by the side, but facing down, putting the baby face down, the child is actually, it will sleep longer. That's why a lot of people put their children face down. But we also want to look at the safety of that child. Then by the side too, when the child is sleeping by the side too, the child is not having the airway for breathing is not completely clear until you put the child face up. When you put the child face up, the airway is completely clear. The airway of that child is completely clear and the child can easily breathe. So it is safer, or the safest way to put a child is to put the child face up, and that is the standard. When I say standard, it is the profession. It's not my own opinion, because I used to have my own opinion too. So it's not about opinion now, it's about what is the safest for your child. So it's not about your opinion, but about what it is. I'm trying the video again. Let's see if we can open it. see if we'll be able to do that now. A minute. Okay, I need to get a technical assistant for this video. Yes. Okay, just a minute, please. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm still trying. I still played the video yesterday. I don't know what the technical problem with it, but we just have to continue. We just have to continue. I wish the video is up. Okay, so as I was saying, the safest way is to face up medically. Medically, why we are saying facing up is because you know the health how the child sleeps for a long time or the child sleeps for a short time is immaterial when we are talking about the survival of a child, the health of a child, the safety of a child. So we are not saying what is the best way to make a child sleep for long. Please don't get me wrong. We are saying the safest way generally, because you don't know, children are different. A child might survive face down, the child might be able to go, but some children might not. So you just have to understand your own child and ensure your child is safe at every point in time. Okay, so we want to go ahead now with what we were talking about, and that is facing down is the safest position that you can put. Facing up is the safest position. There, the child is able to breathe. There is nothing obstructing the airway of that child. And if peradventure you have another child in your care, don't say my child face down, so another person's child must face down. No, another person's baby. that baby might not be able to survive face down. Also, when your child is facing up, you need to also be careful, because why I had issue with the facing up is because anything, when the child is facing up, the child's face is up. Anything coming from up can, hit the child and injure the child. So you have to ensure that the place is safe. There's nobody throwing anything. So there should be a sleeping room where the child can sleep, or somewhere that when the child is sleeping, nobody throws anything to injure the child while the child is facing up. That is one. Two, when the child is facing up, the other danger is that when the child is facing up, the child's hands are open. So the child can pick up anything, can take the cover cloth, for instance, and wrap it all around the child's head. Okay, and that can cause suffocation. That is why you need to ensure that the bed sheet is not loose. It has to be worn on the foam or tucked in properly that the child cannot remove it. I have seen it with my own two naked eyes. I saw a child place, the child was sleeping facing up, and the child by himself removed the cover cloth to wrap himself, and he could not remove it. I was just passing by, so I had to rush to, remove whatever it is that was covering the child's face. So we also need to be careful, whichever one, either face down, side, or facing up. How do you pick up a child? How do you pick up a baby? You pick up a baby supporting the baby's neck, then the baby's waist. Why do we need to support the baby's neck and the baby's waist? Because these two places are still fragile. The bones there are fragile. They are not as strong as the arm, where you can shake the baby's arm and say hello. You can't shake the baby's neck to say hello. The waist, you can't. And that is why the throwing baby up at that stage of newborn, the child is still within that 0 to 3 months, is not advisable, because of the neck of the child, the waist of the child. Those places are still fragile. And you can see this woman in this picture, how he's holding the baby. That's how a new baby should be held or carried. The neck should be supported and the waist should be supported. So for our new moms, mothers to be, can you see the picture? Okay, so when you are taking your baby from the hospital, they are congratulating you. Don't carry the baby and say, this person is a first timer. You have never carried a newborn baby before, and they laugh. No, tell them you have been trained. You know how to, even though you have never carried someone else's baby before, you have been trained how to carry a newborn baby. Why? Why are we carrying the baby like that? Because the baby's the baby is still fragile, okay, and you want to ensure that the baby's neck is perfect in order, and the waist also is okay. So the next thing we are looking at is feeding. How do you feed your child? We're not talking about nutrition. Please, nutrition and feeding are two different things. They are not the same. We are still going to talk about nutrition, how you put the right food. But now, how do you feed your child? What method do you use? We know that the first thing you do, you give your child is your breast milk. That's the first meal of that child. And every mother has to ensure that they do that. You give your child breast milk. Don't say, I'm busy, I'm this. Except medically, you are advised to stop. At times, because of complication of birth or whatever, the doctor can advise stop, start, whatever. If it's not the doctor's advice, don't say you want to decide to stop when it's not yet time to stop. Some people even breastfeed their children up to 2 years. So why can't you do the minimum of a year? Then exclusive breastfeeding is also good for the child. You can do exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. Why not? But at times it might need you to express the milk. I'm always very, very careful with that. When you are expressing the milk, how hygienic it is. How hygienic is it? Where are you keeping it, the milk that you have expressed? If you must express and keep, please ensure it is properly done. Make sure you read about it properly. Don't just do it and make mistake, and the child is now having infection. Say it's because of the breast milk the child took, then you blame somebody. Don't blame anybody. Get informed. Whoever is taking care of the child, instruct the person. Don't say, I thought the person knew. No, the person does not know. That when you bring out the breast milk from the fridge, you shouldn't return it there. If you have expressed a whole bottle and the child cannot finish it, you discard it, because you have brought it out from the thawing and freezing in biochemistry can affect the chemistry of a product, a meal. Okay, freezing and thawing. It's just like you kept your food in the freezer and you brought it out. You know it's not as fresh as you now kept in the freezer again and brought it out. You can imagine it's no more fresh. And we are talking about a baby here. So we just need to be careful. Once you have brought it out from the freezer, it has thawed, and then you have given the child, don't put it back in the freezer. Don't let it stay too long in the freezer. If you can give the child fresh, the better. If you can give the child, and make sure whoever is taking care of child, you emphasize it that they should not put it back. Then when you are expressing, you express the quantity the child can finish, so that it doesn't waste, and nobody is tempted to say, it's still much, let's keep it. Nobody is tempted to do that. Don't put anybody on that unnecessary temptation. So you have enough bottles, and you keep the milk in those bottles, the container, what you know that at least if my child is not too full, at least this can be enough to keep my child for the next 2 hours. So you keep maybe 3 bottles or 4 bottles, depending on how long you are going to be away. You tell them once the child has taken it, you discard. Bottles should be properly washed and sterilized. Some people, after 2 months, they don't bother, or 3 months, they don't bother about sterilizing bottles. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, as long as the child is using bottle, you sterilize the bottle. Don't say that the child is now big enough. As long as that child is still using bottle, as long as the child is still using bottle, you sterilize with a sterilizer. You get a sterile bucket, you put your tablet or your liquid in it. Ensure that the tablet, you put 1 tablet in a sizable container, and it's not as if it's going to be poisonous for the child. So you know the proportion. When you are buying it, look at the label. What quantity should I put in the water? The water should be boiled, should be pure water, boiled water, hot water. You boil it, the water is hot, you put the sterilizer and everything, or you use the machine, whichever one you are using. Make sure you sterilize the bottle. Then you take your child to school, your baby to school, or a crèche or whatever, and you maybe you told them that they should not wash the bottle. Please, if they are not washing the bottle, let them rinse the bottle. Let them rinse the bottle. Don't let them leave the milk inside because you want to wash it yourself. You can allow them to even wash it. Then when you get home, you will wash. Okay, you will wash. Whoever washes your bottle for you, when you get home, you will wash everything all over again as if nobody has washed them, and then sterilize. I recommend that changing of diaper and washing bottle should be done by you and you alone. Don't give that assignment to somebody else to do for you. Don't say, easy. I'm working too. I work and I do the same thing for you, for your child. You do it for the child that you love. Okay? Excuse me, it's because you love your child. That's why you are doing that. Make out time. Because I hear parents saying that I did not know my child had rashes. By the time I saw it, it was already terrible. It has been on for like 7 days. I didn't know. How come? How come it has been on for 7 days, 3 days, 2 days? You didn't know your child had rashes. What has been changing for your child? Maybe you took your child to a daycare center. They have been changing for your child since morning. In the evening, your nanny at home should not change for your child. Hello? Your nanny at home should not change for your child in the evening. You must do that yourself. I didn't say you should. You must do that for yourself. You only allow the nanny at home to change for your child once in a while if you are interchanging it. But if somebody else has been changing for your child since morning, who should take the responsibility to do the changing? If somebody has been washing the bottles, then you in the evening should don't give it to somebody else to do the washing for you, because that person might not do it well. You can trust the person 100%. You can only trust the person a little, but what if the person decides not to at that time for any reason best known to that person? So you wash the bottle, you pieces it, you remove the teeth, the cap, okay, the cover, the teeth, the cap, the bottle itself, pieces it after when you want to wash. Don't wash with teeth, cap, and cup or whatever together. Everything that can be pieces in the bottle must be pieces and washed. And then when you are done washing, you transfer to the sterilizer to sterilize, so that you can be sure that you did it yourself. When somebody else has done it for you, make sure you do it yourself also to reduce the risk, the exposure that you are putting your child to. So I've talked about breast milk. It's good, excellent. You are using formula later. Ensure that the bottles are washed. As much as possible, introduce spoon feeding to your child early enough. Let them start getting used to it, because it's easier to wash. If you are tired of washing feeding bottle, then you use spoon. Some people say my child does not like spoon. You know, some children have preference. All children are not the same. Some like bottle, some like spoon, depending on the child. And again, depending on how you are introduced it to the child early enough. If you introduce spoon early enough, the child will cope. So if you're not tired of bottle feeding, if your child likes bottle feeding, then you should get ready to sterilize. Potty training, getting a potty is the first thing. Your child has now grown, your child is now a year old or close to a year. You want to start potty training your child. Even if the time has not come, get a potty. Because by the time the time comes to potty train your child, you might not have the time to get the potty. And that applies to all aspects of child training. Get the things they need on time. Your child is 2 years old now. What does a child need at age 3, 4, 5? Get those things down. Is there a particular toy that you want that child to have at age 3, 4 to learn, maybe for education purpose? Or get it down. You can keep it. Because when the time comes, there might be no time to get it. The thing might not be available, and the child misses that opportunity. The child just misses the opportunity because they are procrastinating. Before the time, get the things ready. Parents should take up the responsibility to potty train their children. Don't give the responsibility to somebody else and say, nanny, the child listens to you more, potty train. Teacher, the child listens to you more. Who else? Understand your own child and know the rules for your child, so that you will now transfer that information. Give the information to the nanny. This is how my child wants to be potty trained. Don't let somebody use your child as experiment, or use what is obtainable for one child for another child for your own child. Understand your own child. Okay, my child does not like potty. Please, if you put him on the potty and he doesn't accept, then use this. Then the nanny will know that you are in charge. The nanny will respect you. The nanny will know that you know your child very well. Not that it's the nanny that is telling you that your child does not like potty, your child likes toilets. How will you toilet sit? How will you know if the nanny is lying or the nanny is saying the truth? Because you have not taken time out to train your child or to understand your child. Some children don't like potty, and you keep saying that the child is messing him or herself, or it's because they don't like sitting on that potty, or maybe the potty you bought is not the kind of potty they like, or maybe they've seen one particular potty somewhere, you did not buy it, so they are angry that this is the potty. Children can be very funny. Or they see you using the toilet seat. They say, why can't I use toilet seat? So what do you do in such instance? Make sure that you get a dedicated toilet seat for them if you have more than one. If not, make sure the one you are using and the one your child is using, the toilet is sterilized, it's clean at every point in time. When I say clean, I don't mean clean for you, but clean for your child. What is clean for you might not be clean for your child. So it has to have some level of, cleanliness, sterility, as in sterile enough for that child to use. At what age do you start potty training? At what age should you start? Children are different. Don't say because someone starts at 10 months, your own child must start at 10 months. What age? Some 10, just the way children talk. Some talk at, you've seen children that start talking at 10 months. Some is 1 plus, some 2. Okay, but as soon as the child is around that age 1, the child can start potty training. If you're at home with your child, you can even start earlier than 1, depending. But don't say you are taking your child to another place where you don't know how neat the place. Say they must put the child on toilet, they must do this, they must do that. If the place is not safe for your child can still be on, diaper for that period until the child is able to cope with potty training. Don't put your children under unnecessary pressure, and don't give them what they are supposed to do, the training they are supposed to do at the right time. They're supposed to be potty trained, start potty. Don't postpone it. Don't procrastinate. Don't delay in buying potty. Buy it before, once you have given back to your child, the potty should be available. The potty should be available. As you are preparing to buy other things, potty should be part of it. Don't wait until 10 months, and that 10 months you are not around, you are not available to buy the potty. How do you potty train a child? You show the child where the potty is, the child goes there, you show the child how to do it, sit on it. You can, if you have the wherewithal, you can buy the one that will commend the child when the child does it, by clapping, singing. We have some potties like that. If you don't have the money, you can buy the regular potty. Just make sure at intervals the child goes there and the child is learning to wee from 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour to 2 hours. Okay, so you can start with 30 minutes or even less at times, depending on how often your child goes to the toilet. Personal hygiene and grooming. Cutting of nails. Very important. We all know it, right? Everybody knows that the child should cut their nails. So why don't you cut your child's nails? Why am I pausing there? Yes, because we fail in that area. We forget. We are too busy. We run out of schedule because some of us most times don't cut our own nails. We keep our nails, so we forget their own nails because they are not keeping their nails. They are not meant to keep their nails. They are meant to cut their nails. Washing of hands. Have we trained our children to wash their hands? As long as the child can move from one place to another, you can teach that child how to wash. I mean, a child that can walk can learn how to wash his or her hands. Very important. Bathing regularly. We need to teach children how to bathe regularly, or we need to also bathe them regularly. As they are growing up, teach them how to bathe, to encourage them to bathe regularly. They might not like it, but we need to make them enjoy it. Then when they are babies, you sing for them. You can also, even as they're going, you can distract them. For instance, a child that doesn't like to bathe, you can distract the child with what he or she likes to hear, maybe singing in the bathroom or having a conversation with the child can also help. You can have conversation with the child while the child is bathing. Wearing of clean clothes for your child. Please, let's ensure we do that. We wear clean clothes for them. You can't wear the clothes of yesterday for your child today and say the clothes is not dirty. The clothes a child has worn a whole day is dirty. And if it's a baby, you can't even wear a clothes a whole day. You have to change the child's clothes. I'm not talking of night wear now. You will change when the child wants to go to bed. But even during the day, you should change your baby's clothes. The baby's clothes should not even be seen dirty because, you can't see germs. So once you are even seeing that the clothes is dirty, there's already a problem. So you change the child's clothes maybe around 12 or 1, or when the child saws him or herself, at that time, you can use the opportunity to change the clothes. So you don't have to see that the clothes is dirty. for your babies before you change them. Unlike the ones that are grown like 4 years, 5 years, you can say, your clothes is dirty. During the day, you can say, okay, go and let me change your top. But I mean the babies now. Once it's 12-1, you should change it because of sweat and other germs that you can't see. Brushing of teeth twice a day. I'm talking about older children now. Very important that we encourage them to brush their teeth. Then we also find that some children don't like to brush their teeth. They don't like it. We need to look for how to engage them, or if there's a particular song they like that relates to brushing of teeth, we sing that song at that time. For babies, newborns, and as they are growing older, at the initial stage, you might not do anything, but once the child is already getting like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you clean the child's mouth. You clean the child's mouth. When they are newborn already, there's a system that helps them to clean some parts of their body. Okay, if you notice the child's hand, you don't need to start saying you want to sterilize it. That chemical, child can put it in the mouth. Okay, just avoid touching the child's palm. It has a way of cleaning itself up. The mouth, the same thing. But as the child is growing older, almost a month now, you can do cleaning. Okay, don't use cotton wool. At times, the cotton wool might get stuck somewhere. You will not know. Before you know it, the child will swallow it. Use something that the water cannot dissolve it, or the water cannot separate it, like cotton wool. Do you understand? So you use very clean cloth, okay, that you've not used before. You wash it, you sterilize and all that to clean the child's mouth. Don't use salt. And say salt, you know, they are still young. You are still doing only breast milk, and you are giving the child salt or palm oil or whatever. You don't use all those things for your babies. Wash toys regularly. How many of us do that? We wash our children's toys. Now, how often should you wash toys? I cannot tell you how often because it depends on the age of the child. For babies, you have to wash their toys every day. The toys they are going to play with. But as they are growing older, hey, you might not have to. For a 4-year-old, you don't have to wash a 4-year-old toy every day. But as long as they are using toys, you have to wash their toys no matter how old they are. It's just that the frequency will begin to reduce. The frequency of washing will reduce. But as long as your child is still using toy or toys, the toys must be washed. Now, the emphasis on washing of hands. There is no time a child should not wash his or her hands. It's not because now we have COVID-19 or during Ebola time, we say, okay, this is the time now, children should wash their hands and all that. Now is the time, every time is the time for children to learn to wash their hands. Before eating or drinking, after going to the toilet, after playing outdoors, after handling pets or animals, after blowing their nose, after touching plants or flowers, after all these things or before eating, they should wash their hands. Then, even if they are at home, don't say because they are at home, they will not wash their hands. You know, children can be very funny. You don't know what they have put their hand into. So at regular intervals, let them go and wash. Let them see it as, you know, it's a value you can put in the child. And they enjoy playing with water. So there's no child outside, I don't want to wash my hand. No, they like water. So you help them to wash their hands. You teach them to wash their hands. They would like to learn it because they are playing with water. Yes, they love water. What are the procedures? Or what is the procedure for washing of hands? When you want to wash your child's hand, don't say at the age when you are still teaching the child, you don't just say, go and wash your hands. No, at that stage, you want to teach the child. So you have to be there to show the child what to do and take the child through the procedure. You can see, okay, do this, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do. It's fun. You can sing different songs. I can't remember any song now, but I know I have some songs on washing of hands. So this is the procedure for washing of hands. The first step is to wet your hands. Okay, you wet your hands first. If you put soap, the hand will not be clean. Let's learn how to wash hands and teach these children. If you just put soap and start washing, no, wet the child's hand first, then you put soap. After putting the soap, you can see step 2. The step 1, first of all, is to wash the palm. Wash the palm very well. Then put your fingers, interlock your fingers and wash in between your fingers. We say wash your palm, first one. Wash in between your fingers. Then thirdly, wash the back of your palm. Wash your thumb. You can see that person is washing the thumb, the 2 of them. Okay. When you are done doing that, you fold one hand against the other and wash, scrub that part, because that part touches a lot of surface, so you need to put extra care to wash it. Then your fingernails, that's step 6. Wash your fingers. Someone say, will the child do all that? Yes. It is when you are training the child that it looks difficult. Once the child gets used to it, it's very interesting and they are fast at it. They will do it well. Then the wrist. The next thing is to wash the wrist. How many of you wash your wrist? You wash your wrist. Then when you are done, the child will rinse. Show the child how to rinse very well. And then you dry. You can use a towel if it's your towel at home. If it's not your towel at home, you can't use a towel. Okay, so that's the procedure for washing of hands. If you have hand dryer in a public place, you can use the hand dryer. But if there's towel in a public place, don't use the towel. Rather, use tissue. So you have to teach the child. And when you finish washing your hands, don't use the public towel. If there's hand dryer, you use hand dryer. If there's no hand dryer, you use tissue to dry your hands. Please and please, parents, mothers, let's put our children through the procedure of washing hands. Finally, we are going to look at safety. Okay, if we have more questions, we can drop our question. We want to look at safety before we go. Safety at home, safety at other places. You can see I started with safety at home because charity begins at home. At times, as I said earlier, it's easy to blame someone for anything not done, but you are the principal, and so you have to take responsibility. Let's see it this way. This nanny did not do it well. Maybe I did not train the nanny. Maybe I employed a wrong nanny. Rather than blaming an ignorant person for what is not done. What are the things we need to do at home to keep our home safe? Training and getting more information on safety cannot be overemphasized. And there are more things coming out on safety, so you just have to inform yourself. You just have to be informed so that you will know what is happening. Attend trainings on safety. Because I own a school, I think I'm lucky in that. I attend, if I hear there's a training here, safety training here, you as a mother, it's the same thing you should do for yourself. Attend trainings on safety. It pays to be safety conscious. It pays to be safety conscious. When you are safety conscious, you'll be able to put things in place, and your family can be rest assured that they are okay. However, having phobia for safety is very unsafe for your health. Don't give yourself high blood pressure because of it. After some things we'll discuss now, don't say, we are in trouble. How are we going to do it now? Everything that we have to do. But no, it's not about having phobia. It's not about, feeling bad. It's not about getting scared. No, be calm and just do what you have to do. Don't have phobia for safety, because some people are actually having phobia for safety. Especially those that do intense safety training. You can say, we are not safe, and any small thing they start getting scared. No, just know what you need to know. Play materials. Toys should be clean and safe. I've emphasized that enough for children to play with. Clean and safe. At times you get to a daycare center and you say, they don't have toys. They don't have car. You don't have cars. You don't have this. You don't have that. And because they want to please you, they go and get those things and all. Please, it is better for the place to be free. If there are toys, fine. For those toys, you should be after, are those toys safe? not are there many toys. The fewer the toys, the better. The child, they are okay, they have space to move about, there's nothing that can harm them. That should be our most concern at home. At home, we might have just a child or two children. If you have two children at home or three, how safe are those toys? You might have hyperactive children or one that can injure the other person, all in the name of wanting to play with toys. So if you are not around and you are with your children, and your children, someone is going to be with them, pack up all the toys that if you are the one that know your child. You know your child that this one can mistakenly hit something on the other when he is angry, and you leave that toy there. Then you blame the nanny. That's what were you looking at? What were you looking at? The nanny did not know that your child is that hyperactive, that your child can. She has never experienced that. She has never experienced a situation whereby a child will, you hit your brother with toy that is hard and injure the child. She has never experienced it. You are the one that know your child is hyperactive, that can do that. So you pack all the toys. You look around before you leave the house. Which toy can go hit on the other ones? Let me go and hide them. So please, let's make sure the toys are safe. For babies, don't use, I can't even say all my experience about these safe toys in this training. Don't give them foam as toys. You know what I mean by foam? All those toys that are made with foam that the child can bite. It can choke a child. It can choke a child. You might not know, but please, you have learned it in this training. Any toy that has foam, not it has choked a child before and the child was revived. It has choked a child before and the child, I don't know how many children, but at least I know of one child. So please, let's not give them toys that have foam. Toys with nylon, babies, nylon. Nylon can suffocate a child because the child will not be able to breathe when it wraps around the child's head. Nylon and any material of such hard objects that another child can throw. So it's better there is no toy at all. If you cannot buy soft toys without foam, leave the place like that. Don't injure children because you want to impress with lots of toys. Hard toys should be avoided. Foam toys should be completely avoided for babies and toddlers. Okay, I've cited incidents, right? Okay, toys should be packed after use. Don't leave the children's toys and go to bed or close. Pack the toys, wash them that evening or the following, depending on the age of the child. If they are babies, you need to wash their toys or you wash them in the morning before they use them. Floors. Children should be discharged from wet or slippery floors. It should be clean and sterile at all times. Dirt sighted should be removed immediately. That cannot be overemphasized. Chemicals. Detergents, kerosene, disinfectants, color paint, etc. should be kept out of reach of the children. Please, not just out of reach, out of sight. Out of sight. Out of reach means they might be able to see it and they cannot reach it. Please, it should be out. They must not even see it. They must not see it, and we should avoid putting chemicals in wrong containers. Chemicals should be kept in the original, well-labeled, unattractive bottles. There was somebody that gave me soap at a time. Was it soap? And dropped it with someone. So when I got there, the person had not told me they gave me soap. So I got there and it was still on the person's table. I said, wow, what kind of drink is this? This must be a new brand and all. Do I say, it's not drink, it's soap. How can a soap be pink, some kind of pinkish color, and it's looking like a drink? Why? Why should you use the color of a color that can attract children? You know, children like pink. How will a child see pink and the child will not want to drink it? And it is a kind of disinfectant or soap. Is dangerous. So you have to keep it out of reach. Don't keep it in attractive containers. Paints and colors should be used under supervision. In schools, at home, you want your child to paint, you should be around to supervise the child. Safety of the children should be considered when arranging your house. Very important. You know, when we are arranging our house, most times you want to impress somebody and you don't care about your own child. Please, before you consider impressing or consider beautification or any other thing you want to consider, then the first thing you will consider be, okay, I want to put this here. I hope Ugochukwu will not, hope it will be okay with Ugochukwu Hope it will be. Do you understand? How many of us think like that? Before we look at it, that, oh, it will be nice. The first thing should be, hope Ugojuku will not break it. Hope it will not injure him. Cabinet should be balanced. No, to avoid a dangerous fall, it shouldn't be used as partition. Okay? You shouldn't use cabinet as partition. I don't know if you understand what I mean. You want as a divider, okay? You divide your room with cabinets, and just avoid it, because you don't know this kind of cabinet, whether it's the cabinet that is not balanced or the cabinet was balanced before. Later, the cabinet, it started deteriorating, and you were, not that you were careless, but you didn't take note of it. Before you know it, the cabinet tumbles. Cabinets on the wall shouldn't contain any heavy objects or dangerous chemicals. Now, when we are saying all these things, it's because something has happened before. I've worked in a place as a chemistry teacher. They started teaching in the lab. We used the lab to teach. And we came back the following day, all the chemicals the place was filled with smoke. The cabinets where they keep chemicals fell because the cabinet was weak. Imagine if we were there with children. So please, don't keep heavy things there, so that even when the cabinet is weak and you are not aware, the cabinet cannot fall because of the content. Then whenever you have cabinets on the wall, call carpenters to reinforce the cabinet. Let's call carpenters to reinforce our cabinets. Let them just check around all the cabinets on the wall. Are they still okay? Hope they cannot fall. Don't put any objects that will make them fall. Position of cabinets in the room should be greatly considered. In your parlor. No wires on the floor that the children can crawl to the place. The babies can crawl to the place and start tampering with the wire, the socket. Make sure everything, all the wires are up. The cabinets, the child cannot go there and pull it. I saw a video where the child went to the cabinet and the cabinet, fell on that child. So let's just be careful with the use of cabinets. Doors and keys. Monitor your child's height regularly to know the extent to which he or she can operate the doors and the keys when you are not around. We all know, we've all experienced one thing or the other about that, or we've heard about it. So let's not put the children at that risk. You can teach them, in case, how to open and close doors. You can show them, at times when you see that your child is very inquisitive, show your child something. When I say the child is too small, cannot understand, but if that child is very inquisitive, the child will learn it when you are not there. Ornamental plants. Get information about ornamental plants, that is flowers, in your home. Did you know some plants are poisonous? Okay. Mother-in-law tongue. There's a particular plant like that is, we've seen it before, Amina. It's very common everywhere. People love, in fact, hardly will you go to a big organization, a company, that you will not see this plant. And the plant is dangerous. The sap can make a child go dumb. That's why they call it dumb plant, dumb cane. The popular name is dumb cane. So take note of that, or mother-in-law's tongue. The biological name is Diaphinbacchia amina. So please, let's avoid plants generally. You don't know which one is which. You don't know the one that is poisonous. Just train your children that don't touch plants. You can just admire them. Don't touch flowers. Let that be your rule. Don't touch flowers. You have to just see them. They are just to make the place beautiful. They are not to be put in your mouth or to touch, because you don't know which one is dangerous to your child. This particular one, the sap is very dangerous. And even some say the leaf is dangerous. So once the sap is dangerous, likely the leaf too might be dangerous. So let's just avoid, even if possible, avoid putting it in your house as a decoration. Okay, safety. Again, we are talking about signposts. You can teach children to read signposts, even if the child cannot read yet. You can teach them that red means danger. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when they see red, it means stop. It means danger. It means, the blood is red. So when you see somebody, red is on somebody's body, know that the person needs help. We can give our children those kind of training. If they can read, you can put signposts in the house. Do not touch. The floor is wet and all that. Then fire extinguisher. Okay, do you have a fire extinguisher in your house? Please, if you don't get one, not just having it, learn how to use it. And also, it can expire. Fire extinguishers, the one in your car, it has expired. The one in your house, if you have, it has expired, or wherever. Always check, call the fire service people to come pick it up. They will help you to gauge it. There's a way they do it. They will gauge it and make it to be okay again, to be fit for use for another 1 year or 1.5 years. I think it can stay up to 2 years. I don't know. Depending on how they gauge it. Don't say somebody's own is 1 year, so your own is 1. No, it depends on how the fire extinguisher was gauged. First aid box or first aid kit or first aid equipment. Do you have them in your own? Okay, we'll be talking about that under healthcare. So I won't say much on that today because of our time, but it's good for us to have a safety kit at home so that in case there's an emergency, the child will not, you won't just say, I did not know, there's no paracetamol, and the child was running temperature at night. I say, he just finished, he just finished, all those things are excuses that will not be taken from us. So let's please do the needful. We'll talk about first aid box in our next lesson when we have health care. We'll look at the contents that are supposed to be in the first aid box. You can buy one. If you don't know what is supposed to be there, a nurse can tell you the key things. You want to dress up a wound, you want to stop bleeding, those things should be available in the house. Get a trained nanny if necessary. If you must have a nanny, please, I am passionate about this. If you must have a nanny at home, ensure the nanny knows what to do. If not more than you, let the nanny know a little as much as you know, so that you won't say, it's because of that nanny. You won't have to blame the nanny, because blaming anybody will not change anything. Blaming anybody does not mean that you will not be blamed. So please, get a nanny that is trained. A little education, let them have. Not somebody that cannot even hear what you are saying. And you have said, put food in the freezer. The person is saying, put baby in the freezer. Please, let us not put, and don't say, God help us. God will help us. We are praying that God should help us. But whatever you have to do, do it. Don't put a nanny that cannot take care of a child with your child, and you are saying God will help you. You have not done your own part. You just have to play your part. You have to play your role to be able to say God will help you. You know that Hallelujah says, heaven helps those who help themselves. Next week, we'll be looking at healthcare. We'll be inviting somebody that will come. I just hope that our video, because there are lots of video we couldn't watch today. I'm so sorry about that. I checked the video, checked everything yesterday, and I'm surprised the video is not coming up today. We are going to be watching those videos. We'll quickly watch them before we start next week. And then we will invite a nurse to show us the things we need to do on emergency, handling emergency at home. You are a mother, you don't know how to handle emergency. Oh, you are not yet a professional mother. So thank you very much for listening. God bless you. We have to stop now and take questions. Any questions for me? Okay, let me check if we have questions there. Okay, let's quickly post our questions, or we can unmute. If you have a question, chat me or raise a hand so that you can unmute yourself and ask your questions one after the other. Do you have any questions?